videos, but we're going to ride down to the fields this morning and kind of see what's happening, see how the birds are doing, if we've got some feeding or whatnot, and we'll talk a little bit later about what's coming this week. We're in the real thick of it as far as North Carolina hurricane season, and there's going to be some weather coming this week that's probably going to disrupt the birds that are here, and we'll see it before and after, I guess. Well, El Jefe out. See you in a minute. Alright, here we are getting ready to turn into the bottom of field 2. Kind of see what's going on. As you can tell, sunflowers are dead. We are losing some blowing over due to we're real wet. And hopefully we won't get too much rain this weekend. But if we do, it is what it is. There's not much we can do about it. We have that chance every year to have tropical weather, whether depression, storm, or hurricane, and so we'll see what happens this week. But sunflowers are where we want them to be. Looks like the birds are up here on the upper end feeding this morning. If you'll notice, probably have to zoom in, but they're sitting right on top of the sunflowers this morning out there. And some might be on the ground, but man, they're perched right up there like it's nothing to it. Yeah. This is kind of how we want it. These birds are getting a really good feeding pattern set up. We can make this turn here into the power line field. They're let it up in here too. Right many birds. I'm not sure. I'll stop here for a second. But if you look on the power line, I'll zoom in. So they'll go from the sunflowers to the power line. Roosting up there and then back out to the field. So we got a pretty good feed on this morning. Some of the birds aren't even down on the field yet. They're still up in the power line. This is a power line field. You see them dropping in there. Hopefully you can see that bird coming in, dropping right down. Man, we're in great shape. Just hope that we don't lose all of them, get knocked down by a bunch of wind and rain. But I don't know, it's a dilemma. But so we get to enjoy what's going on right now, and I want to show you the other power line. And I mean, if you start here and go down, there's a lot of birds out there on that power line. Sure is. So, well, that's kind of a pretty good loop around the field. You'll see some birds getting up there. So, yeah, we're in good shape. We'll see if they hang around or what happens after middle of the week. Most of the time, when we get a tropical storm this time of year, depending on the amount of wind and rain, Hefe back again. I hope you enjoyed the little loop around the field. For all you hunters out there, you salivating a little bit. It is a good bunch of birds. My wife and I went out to eat yesterday evening, and we were riding by the power line, and man, she was loaded up. I mean, from one side of the field to the other. I mean, that field's probably 300 yards across, and there wasn't many bare spots left on the power line. So the doves have definitely found it. You know, normally, and I patterned several years ago, we made a trip out to Montana, and I actually round up the field before I left, about 2 weeks. We were gone the last week of July, came back on like the 3rd or the 5th of August, and I'm telling you, there was 300 birds in these fields. I mean, they were loaded up. And so it's definitely sunflower, the black oil, the Paradovic. It's definitely a go-to seed for the early part of dove season in September. The birds will choose this over corn, and then as the year changes, their what they prefer changes. You know, they go from sunflowers, then they'll transition over to corn because it'll be getting harvested in this area starting in late August right on through September. The farmers will really make a push to get it in as early as they can because it is hurricane season, and once that stuff gets blown down to the ground, it's harder for the headers to pick them up, and so they'll have a lot more loss. Not to mention the moisture content will shoot way up, and so it's better to get it out a little wet before the hurricane than to lose it or get real wet after the hurricane. And then, you know, and then later into November and December, the birds switch over to soybeans because that's what's readily available that time of year. And of course, there's other wild weed seeds and stuff that's starting to die off in the fall, and they'll drop seed, and the birds will be, you know, feeding on those. But I don't really know what this week's going to bring. There's a lot of uncertainty as far as the National Hurricane Center on once this hurricane comes up the Florida coast in the Gulf and then turns and comes across Florida. They don't really know what it's going to do, but it's not going to do much very fast. So this is one of those storms that is going to be a flooding event, it looks like. At least that's what they're telling us. So do we get the rain and some decent wind? If we do, you're going to see a different picture come next Saturday or next weekend. And it's upsetting a little bit, but at the same point, that's Mother Nature. I get to plant, get a pretty field of sunflowers. The birds come just like they're desired. They're not always here when hunting season comes around. Mother Nature throws stuff at us. There's curveballs, there's drought, there's floods, and there's hurricanes. Not just hurricanes. I mean, we get some severe thunderstorms. We'll get a downdraft of what they call a straight line wind, and I've had half the field blown over with just one storm come through. So it's disheartening, I guess, but it's part of what we deal with, but I'm not going to stop doing it. I love it, and if the birds get more benefit out of it than I do, which typically they do, so be it. But we'll touch back with you, towards the end of the week after the storm passes. Hopefully it'll pass quicker. Hopefully it'll make a left or a right hand turn and won't bother us at all. But we'll be preparing this week, not really for the field, but we'll be preparing our homes and stuff from what might be coming to us, and that takes a precedent or a priority, I guess, over any kind of the hobbies and stuff. The other stuff just kind of goes to the wayside. But it's El Jefe. Remember that we're stewards of what God created, and I am blessed to be able to, for sake of a better word, play and hobby farm and stuff for wildlife with food plots and dove fields. And I just want to thank God for all the blessings He's given me, all the ones that are coming that I don't even know about, and those that I'll never know about. But I just give God all the glory, and just ask Him to continually to give me the knowledge, the wisdom, and the strength to follow Him and provide for my family. And y'all take care, and El Jefe out.